interesting to look at the many different revenue streams and the ways to cost benefit this, because you have the transport and tanking of solids off of a
Yes.
property when you set the number of tons. But have you planned, or how, when you talk about generating revenue from some of these minerals, or a polishing process to extract things that could be useful, I know that creates those revenue streams. Are you involved, or how does the utility capture those revenues? Doug, if you could talk about your vision right now.
Yeah. So what we're going to do in the OC Sand project, and we're doing with many of the projects, is we're doing what we call controlled studies. So we want to, because we're moving this into a 6x scale up and moving it out into commercial application, we want to understand what the feedstocks are, what the effluent, what the concentration and composition of the feedstock, what the concentration and the composition of the effluents are, but including what the minerals are. And we will also be sampling off gases, because in the US, we do have to satisfy the regulators that this does or does not need an air permit. And if it does, what are the parameters that might be of concern? So we're working with consulting engineering firm is a partner of ours, and they're going to be doing the monitoring, and we'll be evaluating. But one of the things we did do is we put in a translucent cone bottom tank for the effluent, so we can put the waste in there and then be able to pull the mineral samples. And then looking at the mineral samples, depending on what's in there, and the we will then be able to look. We've talked with, there's a couple of universities out there that are doing some work on recovery of minerals like this. So we do want to be able to see if those streams can be valorized. And then in terms of the water that comes out, the water can be used back in the plant. Depending on what the use is, will determine what polishing you might need on it. But you could be reduced. And water, unfortunately, in the US, water is cheap and too cheap, but there still is an operational cost offset if you're able to reuse and recycle the water. And then obviously, if we're able to recover heat and are able to convert to electricity, that's a huge offset as well, because it'll reduce the demand that they're pulling for the overall plant, and create electricity from waste that they didn't have before. So that's the way we're looking at it. And as we go into each project, we'll be evaluating those elements to see where we can. When we do cost calculations, when Mark and I do a lot of the business cases, we generally will do two different versions. One will be, if you can't get any value, then you're just using this as a treatment system. And then the other end of it is, you can valorize the minerals. You can valorize the water, you can valorize the electricity, and then we look at those.
Sorry to butt in, Doug. Can you tell us what is the smallest such system that you have